So I am here as a United States Senator, a member of the Democratic Party, and I want to bring you greetings as well from a nation that is in crisis. I'm not going to sugarcoat the gravity of what we face right now in the United States. This is the most significant threat to American democracy since the Civil War. Donald Trump in our country is trying to end our democracy. We are not on the verge of a totalitarian takeover. We are in the middle of it. He is trying to seize control of our courts, of our law enforcement, of our media, of our elections. His goal is oligarchic capture. He doesn't believe in democratic equality. He doesn't believe in shared prosperity. He believes only in the consolidation of wealth and the consolidation of power. And I want to say this very clearly to you. I want you to understand this and know this. This White House is the most corrupt White House in the history of our nation. Now, Donald Trump thinks he can get away with this in America by distracting us, by telling Americans that the real threats to our lives are immigrants or Muslims, gay children, drag shows off in Europe. He wants to turn us against each other. He's also trying to silence dissent. He threatens to lock up my colleagues for opposing him. He's invaded American cities with his personal political police force, ICE, to crush peaceful protest. But here is what I am in Barcelona to tell you, united with progressive parties all over the world. In the United States of America, Donald Trump is not going to win. I know this because 3 weeks ago, 8 million Americans walked out their front doors and joined together in over 3,000 town squares, parks, and public places, the single largest day of protest in the history of the United States of America. Donald Trump's approval ratings are at historic lows. His party loses election after election, and his enablers in Congress are going to be wiped out of office this November in our elections. And let me tell you something else. Americans are watching what is happening in the rest of the world. They are watching the courage of the defenders of democracy in Hungary. They are watching the courage of the defenders of democracy here in Europe. But that victory in Hungary just a week ago, it lifted our sails in the United States of America. So I want us to make sure one more time that we give a hearty, loud thanks to the people of Hungary for saving their democracy and perhaps helping to save ours. This is a moment, my friends, where progressives around the world have to unite. Trump, Orbán, Le Pen, the AfD, the remnants of Bolsonaro, these right-wing movements, they learn from each other. They copy one another's tactics of democratic destruction, and they count on us to be divided, to argue over purity tests while they dismantle our freedoms. But to beat them, we must learn from each other too. We have to understand how Prime Minister Sanchez, how President Lula have built big progressive coalitions all over the world. We must learn together the lessons of Hungary. Are we all committed to learning those lessons together? Yes, we are. But I want to be honest with you as well. The corporations that prey upon us, that quietly and sometimes loudly back the right-wing project of oligarchy, they're counting on us to be divided too. The big technology companies want to keep the United States and Europe paralyzed on how to protect children and families from the poison that they're spewing out on social media and artificial intelligence. And the only way to prevent the total corporate takeover of our societies is for the global progressive movement to unite in breaking up concentrated corporate power all over the world. Now, here's my last and perhaps most important message. Donald Trump is actually not the cause of America's problems. He is a symptom. And the same is true for right-wing demagogues rising across many of your own countries. Beating Trump this November is essential. Beating Orbán was essential, and it will be a cause for celebration when we win. But it will not be a cure for what ails us. Our project as progressives is not simply to win elections. Our project is to reckon with the spiritual unspooling that is happening under our feet. Because for millions of people, especially in high-income nations, the modern world has, for many, turned existence into a wasteland of empty consumption, of technology-induced loneliness, of flattened culture, of work without dignity. And so our challenge is not just to raise wages. It's not just to protect civil rights. It's not just to keep our water and our air clean. Our challenge is to build a world in which people find real connection, real meaning in their daily lives. Capitalism is broken. You know this. In America, our people once felt powerful generations ago when the leaders who ran the companies that they worked for lived in their community. Their local hospital was owned by someone they knew. Their grocery store was owned by a neighbor. But the consolidation of economic power into the hands of a very small number of people, private equity elites, a few technology industry leaders, it's not just an economic problem, it's a spiritual problem. People feel lonelier and less connected when the centers of economic power sit far away in Aspen or Davos instead of in their own community. And so our project as progressives has to be simple. The fight moving forward in this world is between corporate power and worker power. And all over the world, progressives are going to stand up for workers. Now, our fight also requires us to confront the ways that artificial intelligence are going to compound this spiritual crisis. What happens to our soul when machines replace the things that make us human? Conversation, friendship, creativity, problem solving. We should just refuse to live in a world where machines, controlled by a small group of out-of-touch billionaires, replace what it means to be a human being. And lastly, progressives are going to have to confront the cult of corruption in our world. This cult of corruption exists in America, but in every other corner of this world. This is the lesson from Hungary. The Hungarians refused to bend to the cult of corruption. They demanded a higher standard from their public sector leaders. And when Peter Magyar won, he went immediately to the studio of one of those corrupt broadcasters, one of the propaganda machines that carried Orbán's message for 16 years. And he announced on the air that the government would shut down that station and would rebuild independent, objective media in its place. Progressives should make the reform of our democracy our #1 priority in the United States and across the world. And I will tell you what that means in the United States. That means passing an amendment to our Constitution to get billionaire money, corporate money, and anonymous money completely out of our politics. This is the kind of agenda that speaks to the spiritual heart of our nations, an agenda that can rebuild meaning, an agenda that can rebuild connection, an agenda that builds a barrier against the forces of demagoguery and the destruction of democracy. Our work is to raise wages. Our work is to clean the air. Our work is to promote equality. But our work is also to confront the coldness of the modern world, the ways in which the cults of profit, the cult of technology, the cult of consumption, that cult of corruption leads to loneliness, isolation, and hopelessness. Our politics has to be a politics that restores communion and meaning to people's lives. Until we do that, our victories are not going to last. And so I leave you with this. I believe in my heart of hearts that in America, we are going to do the things over the next several months to save our democracy from Donald Trump. Donald Trump may insult Europeans. Donald Trump may insult the democracies of the world. But I will tell you, the American people stand with you. The American people support inclusive democracy. The American people support democratic equality. But none of us in America, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia, none of us are going to be safe until we do that hard work across the borders to build a world in which people feel more connected, in which people are empowered in their communities. This is our work. It is work that is worth doing. And if we do it together, America will turn the page on Donald Trump. We will get to tell a story to our grandchildren and to our great-grandchildren about the moment that we joined together, progressives all across this great big world, to defeat the forces of totalitarianism. Thank you very much to Barcelona. Thank you to the organizers of this great conference.